Thank you, and welcome to this live with me, Siri, and Sabine on Insight Timer tonight, or today, or tomorrow, or wherever you are. It's great to be here again in the quantum physics world with Sabine. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am, for those of you who don't know me. Last time you couldn't hear me even, but I'm here, and I hope you can hear me now. So give us a heart if you can hear me, and ask any question if you like. Maybe there are some of you who have seen me on my profile, painting live or drawing with my piano. I don't know, because I'm on Zoom and you're on Insight Timer. So there have you. I'm an artist, an intuitive artist, and Sabine has even called me quantum artist, painting, some kind of artist like that. Painting what people talk about, painting what people write, painting what people say, and painting what people sing or even create into poems. And recently I had a lady here on Insight Timer, maybe she's here even to watch us tonight, in South Africa, telling me that her experience of my art is the same as when she watched a video with an umbilical cord, and the same comforting, nurturing feeling from watching that video while watching my art. So there have you. There's a lot of healing in my art. It's really intuitive. I don't know what I'm painting, except that I'm the channel and the instrument for the words and the energy of the words. So working with Sabine is one of the examples I have on what I do. I paint on the piano, I paint on the paper, and the energy is tangible, and you can feel the energy if you are close to my artworks. So if you buy them, please do, and have healing in your home. I'm also a coach for leaders in the world, and my overarching meta strategy is world peace, which brings us back to today's topic. Sabine, over to you.
Yes, Sabine Priestley. I'm an electrical engineer. I research quantum physics as it relates to expanding consciousness and the bioenergetics of us. Bioenergetics is just a fancy word for the energy of our thoughts, our emotions, and our bodies, both our energy body and our physical body. And to me, quantum physics has helped explain so much of the things that I could not explain when I had my opening awakening, as it were, in 2016. All right. Thank you, Siri. Yes, I love what Siri does, and it is related. I relate everything in the quantum aspect of it, and Siri's a representative of entanglement. So what she creates, whether it's on paper with art or with music on the piano, she's tapping into that energy in a beautiful way that I hope that more and more of us are able to do as we navigate this life. So what I wanted to talk about today was peace, for obvious reasons. I think there's a lot going on in the world right now. The US in particular is in turmoil for a lot of different reasons. 2016, I was in that same turmoil. 2016 was the beginning of my journey, as it were, and the beginning of my expanding consciousness. And I woke up the next morning in absolute shock, like most of the people were. And this is just a repeat of that. So I've been really thinking about it. The day after the election this time, when I got up, I was okay. I was fine. It was really interesting in that it just didn't bother me. I had a peace, a calmness around me. And I'd like to talk a bit about that to see if we can help other people feel that way. A lot of my research is in bioenergetics and being a good shepherd of our own energy. So much of the suffering that goes on in this world, certainly in my case, the suffering that I went through, in hindsight, it was all self-generated. I literally was doing it to myself. And I think most people do that. What I've learned is that everything is a choice. Everything is choice. I lived my life prior to 2016 the way most people do, and that was just reacting. And there was nothing wrong with that. I went about my life and I reacted as things happened around me and to me. And most people live their life that way. What I've learned now is that I don't live a reactionary life. I live a conscious life. I live a life of awareness and a life of choice. So it's very difficult for me to, except for some funny triggers, it's very difficult for me to get flustered for any long period of time, because I know that all I have to do is switch the perspective and I'll be fine again. I've had a number of talks and meditations on Insight Timer and other places talk about that. I'm very open about the journey that I have and the things that I've had to struggle with and the way that I can flip the script on what's going on in my mind. So let's take the elephant in the room, the election. And how can I be okay with that? Well, a lot of this has to do with the principles of conscious quantum living. First of all, we have to hold space for what is. What is. I cannot feel bad enough, scared enough, confused enough to make any difference of what happened in the election. So why would I feel that way? And I know that that's a tough one because these emotions are ingrained in us. We have what I term the monkey mind. It's a Buddhist term. And the more that we can get trained on the monkey mind, train the monkey mind to serve us, the better our lives become. But I've recently become aware of another thing, and I think this is what people are struggling with even more today. The body has a corollary to the monkey mind, and that's the energy body, and it's emotions, it's stuck energy, it's things that we may or may not be conscious of. But this body has habits in the same way that our monkey mind has repetitive thoughts. And until we train the monkey mind, it doesn't serve us. It's our worst enemy. It's our worst critic. It's the one that's always putting us down, saying we can't do that, we shouldn't do that, I'm not worthy of that. The body has a corollary to that. It's really fascinating. And I think a lot of people are being consumed by that emotional, passionate drive to somehow express what's going on within them. Energetics is all about understanding how we can take what is and alchemize it. How do we transmute it from one vibration into another? Now, I'm working on a course right now called the 7 Hermetic Principles, and a lot of this is in there. The 2 of the principles I'm thinking of, one is the principle of vibration, and the other one is the principle of rhythm. Vibration we can take from the micro, which is we are energy beings and we vibrate. When you think about the emotions that you have, they're a vibration. It's a high, joyous, loving emotion. It's a high vibe. If it's a really heavy, fearful, angry emotion, that's a low vibe, and it's a difficult one to deal with. On the macro side, we think about vibrations in terms of how the planet has its own resonant frequency, how the universe has its own resonant frequencies that are out in space. And then the principle of rhythm is how these vibrations that exist, how they swing. It's a pendulum swing to the left and swing to the right. Same thing with emotions. We have good days and we have our bad days. Conscious quantum living is the alchemy. It's understanding when we're having a bad day, there are things that we can do to make it a better day. And depending on what it is that's got us triggered, it might be an easy fix, and it might not be an easy fix. It might take time. It might take more time than we like, but we can do it. So going back to where we're at right now, it feels like chaos. But be a good shepherd for your own personal energy space and realize that, again, you can't suffer enough to help another person that is suffering. So you can meditate, you can take care of yourself, you can do the things to raise your energy and bring peace to your heart. And always remember that from chaos always comes creation. We just had 2 hurricanes in 1 month here, and out of all that destruction, new creation is coming. That's just part of the cycle of life, the seasons. The trees bloom and blossom in spring, and then now in fall and winter, the leaves, they look like they're dead. The trees look like they're dead, a lot of them. And that's just the rhythm that we go through. So as we enter this next phase in the US and in the world, remember that it's just the cycles of life. I also personally believe that it's a transitionary period. We are shifting, we are changing. And one of the reasons that I'm okay with what's going on right now is because A, I've trained myself, I know how to hold space for what is, and B, I truly believe that we have to stop with this us versus them mentality. It's not us versus them. We are all somebody's child. We are all possibly somebody's sibling, somebody's parent, somebody's grandparent. We all want the same things. We want a safe place to live. We want food and water, and we want to thrive to some extent. We all want the same things. And as we sit here looking at each other on one end and the other saying, you're bad and this is good, no, it's all part of the same thing. We have to learn to live together, knowing that we don't have to be the same. It would be really boring if everybody was the same and everybody believed the same. That's never going to happen. There's always going to be some amount of conflict, but the pendulum has swung so far at this point, it feels like there's nothing but conflict going on. And that's okay. This is part of the swing. This pendulum is going to swing back again. And we can facilitate that so that we swing back to an even better place, a more global place, a more globally aware place where we're not fighting. We understand that when we hurt another, we're hurting ourselves. I want to say that again because it's so important. When we hurt someone else, be that on a micro scale, me doing something to hurt someone, or a larger scale with country taking another country to war, we're just hurting humanity. We're just hurting ourselves. So we have to open our hearts, all right? Finding compassion for the other, the bad ones. They're not bad. They're people just like us. They have their own desires, their own wants, and their own needs. And we can find ways to work together. It doesn't have to be a this or a that. The universe isn't binary, it turns out, right? It's quantum. There are superpositions. We can do things that we probably haven't thought about before. So let's hold that thought of peace in our heart. For my teachings, it's open your heart. It's love. And with my belief that consciousness is primary, I'm tapping into that. I'm tapping into the highest consciousness that created everything. There really is no bad in that realm, that macro realm. It's everything is. Everything is a lesson. Everything is becoming. Everything is expanding or contracting, depending on where it is in that rhythm. So let's be more flexible and let's be the best shepherd we can again for our space, our biofield. Because when we can do that and we raise our energy and we're out in the world, being at peace helps others. They just want to be around you because they know that you're that one, you're that person that is always pretty at peace and pretty even keeled. And we can all be that person. Yeah, so hold that peace in your heart and know that this is why we came. Let's be the peacemakers and not the drama creators. All right, let's take a look at Siri's painting here. Oh, that's gorgeous.
What can you see in this, Sabine?
The words that come to mind, interestingly enough, is peace wheel.
That's a good one.
It reminds me, there's a Native American tradition, I think, that is being stirred up in my memory here.
Oh.
I spent a lot of time in Arizona, and the Native American culture was really big there. And that's what that, I don't know. Are you familiar with the Native American cultures at all?
A little bit, not too much. I feel very drawn to them, though. I used to be an Indian in a couple of lives, I think, at least. So there is something there, but I don't know where it is and who. But I recognize people by the way I feel when I meet them. So if I know if I feel I was an Indian with someone, it's very barefoot and down to earth and logical and open heart and long hair and yeah. So it's that's Yeah. I can't tilt it yet because it's wet, but there's gold in
Yeah.
here, and the spiral is there, and the flowing fluidity, and everything is one. And yeah,
I love all the curls, the curly cues. I
I
mean,
know.
that's the sequence, the Fibonacci. Did
Yeah.
you? I wasn't watching you. Did you use a what's the word? A protractor to draw the circles? Is that the
No,
right
I
word?
used a compass to
A
draw the
compass. There
leaves
you
of
go.
yeah, and the leaves of the flower. Yeah, that's the
I
only
love that.
control I have. So,
And I can see this in terms of alchemy again. So let's
hmm,
think about the dark center, the very dark center, and how we can take that.
mm,
If that is our space, if that is what
mm,
we're
mm,
feeling and we're suffering from, how we can take that through alchemy. In this case, it's colors and it's movement, and we can branch that out into other beautiful, beautiful energetics of colors and design.
mm.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, there you go. She's back. Well, thank you for being here. I hope everyone enjoys this recording and put it up in all the usual places. And remember, life is only what we make it. And you can make it really struggling, and you can make it full of angst and a lot of anger and fear, or you can just choose personal sovereignty. Your biofield, your energetics are yours and yours alone. Nobody has to affect them. Nobody can affect you unless you let them. So keep that in mind, no matter what's going on around you. Hold love in your heart and be at peace.
Thank you.
Until next time, cheers.